The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
And welcome into the EP Podcast. My name is Chris Lanuti, joined by Hannah Beth. John Brand from Open Outcry going to be in here today, and we're going to talk with Mayor James Sexton. You may have already heard it in the weekend update that comes out each and every Friday. Halloween trick-or-treating is on, plus bonus stuff for the people of Evergreen Park. Before we get into it, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park knows that now saving money is more important than ever. And that's why our proud sponsors are offering a number of great savings accounts and tools to meet your needs. Whether you're looking for a first savings account for your child, a certificate of deposit, or a money market account, First National Bank of Evergreen Park has the right savings solution for you. To learn more, make an appointment to meet with a banker at bankevergreenpark.com/EPPod, member FDIC. You know, I found out a few things about them. First of all, they hand out the EP Podcast car magnet over there at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, right at 95th and Pulaski in that iconic building. Go through the drive-thru, go inside. It's free. You can win cash and fabulous prizes. We'll talk about that more as this show goes on. But they have a coin machine in there. You don't even need to be a member, and they don't charge you for using the machine to turn it into cash. Like every other coin machine I've ever heard of in my entire life, like charges you a fee to turn your change into dollars, and theirs doesn't. I love those guys. I also love stumping John Brand from Open Outcry when it comes to beer. He brought me one to try, and I brought one to try to stump him with. We're going to do that in moments. Joining me now on the EP Podcast, good friend of the show. We're so lucky that he jumps on every once in a while and talks with us, and a nice guy, too. Mayor James Sexton joins us. How are you, sir?
Good, great, Chris. Good morning. Good to be with you.
How's the fam? Everybody doing good right now?
They're all good, knock on wood.
That's awesome. Well, I think you know what the first thing I'm going to ask you about is, because it's everything that everybody wants to know about right now. It's Halloween in Evergreen Park, and I got kids that are already planning out their costumes. I'm thinking about getting myself like a big long PVC pipe. I keep seeing these things on Facebook where I can slide the candy down the banister to kids for a little bit of social distancing. What's going to happen? Do we know what's happening yet for Halloween in Evergreen Park?
Well, first of all, the recreation department is planning a big movie party over at the community center on Friday the 23rd and Friday the 30th with two shows each night where you can come in with your family in your car, park, get out of your car, sit in front of your car and watch movies that will give candy and some treats out when you pull in. So there's going to be 4 shows, 2 on the 23rd of October and 2 on the 30th. Scary, scary, scary movies at the community center. So that's plan number 1. And all the social distancing and all the precautions will be in place. That's why the outdoor event. Then we are looking for Halloween and for Saturday, which is Halloween this year, possibly between 3 and 6. But we haven't set all of the rules and regulations into place as of yet because we want everybody to be safe. But we also want kids to be kids. We will get some banners, posters for your house. If you don't want people stopping, we certainly understand that. But the kids need to get out and be as normal as they possibly can be. As you know, we had a very successful baseball season this year. We were one of the first to do baseball with precautions. The girls softball and the boys club did an incredible job. We pulled that off. We started a preschool back up with no problems since late August. And some of our schools are starting to open back up. So I think if we use the proper precautions, that's mask and cleaning, sanitizing as best we can, we are starting to find out a little bit more about this virus.
You know, there's so much to unpack there. First off, I love the the drive-in movie theater aspect and doing it on 2 weekends or two Friday nights. That's really cool. That's going to be an appointment for me and my family for sure. That's awesome. And then secondly, the fact that we're going to end up doing Halloween, I think people will be excited about that. And I find it really interesting that the village has decided they're going to try to work with those that don't want to be bothered and have something where they can put it up in their window and a system so that, the kids know, hey, that house right there, don't go up and bother them because of the whole thing that's going on. Run on to the next house. There's plenty of them in the neighborhood. I think it's a solid plan. And I got to tell you, Evergreen Park has kind of become a really good example for the surrounding area. We have District 124 doing very well with schools. I have a kid in Southwest. Every time something happens, there's a notification, but they cut that off right away. We have not seen any spreading. The same thing with what's going on in the recreation department. Like you said, the preschools, all these different things that we've kind of dipped our toe in the water and figured out. It's almost like, do you feel that surrounding school districts and surrounding areas could take a lesson to how things have been done right here in the EP?
Well, yes, and we like to lead the league in everything. I also want to mention that the recreation department / youth department will be opening up for open gym for basketball Friday the 16th, and also for volleyball starting around that time. So we will get back with the kids and get them back in the gymnasium, again, with proper precautions. That's probably the key to it all. So, yes, we're going to open up with the open gym. Recreation department has been expanding their programs, whether they be exercise programs. Our seniors are going to be back in their building in the near future with lunches and things like that. We have to start to learn to live with this problem, not just hunker down and pretend like it can't happen.
Can you talk a little bit about how it's been to work with the local businesses? I know that they're all kind of trying to figure out how to do everything right, but it doesn't seem like you've had very many bumps in the road. The best example I could think of right now is Porter Cullen's that has now erected an outdoor tent and seems to be getting themselves ready for the next phase of this as they go into the colder months. Has it been an easy thing with the local businesses? They kind of understand what they can and can't do, and have you run into any snags so far?
No, we haven't ran into too many snags, and Porter Cullen's is a great example of local people owning a local business and doing the very best they can in these times. Jerry Dury, Karen and I happened to be there for lunch last week, and Jerry came out and he said, I'm going to try and order a tent to put over here so I can do some business during the winter months. And it was like, have at it. Please, Jerry, we can't afford to lose these local businesses, so we have to support them in every way we can. I guess it's easy to go out and have lunch or dinner under a tent during the summer, but we've got to get ready to support these people during more difficult times.
And then I guess the thing that has kind of stood out to me is that people have gotten used to the precautions. I notice as I walk down the street, I walk the dog. People spread out. They walk around to give each other some space. People make sure that they don't get into big groups when there is an event or when there are people around each other. They all seem to understand, take that extra step back, put on the mask when you're starting to get close to people, especially those who are at risk. I think people are starting to kind of get it. I think that there's other people that live in other areas besides Evergreen Park who start to feel like they're being treated like they're children or they can't figure this out. And Evergreen Park seems to be treating us like, hey, you guys are adults. These are the rules. As long as we're following them, let's continue to do events and keep our community as open as we can so we don't all become strangers to each other. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. And I respect everyone's opinion. Some are in favor of the mask, some aren't. Let's just use them as a precaution until we learn more about this thing. Or we come up with a vaccine, and the sooner the better on the vaccine. But it's gotten way too political. We don't try and do that here in Evergreen Park. We just want to be neighbors and be good neighbors. So we're hoping everybody does the right thing.
Is how the Halloween events go going to be a litmus test as to whether or not you could pull off other events that you normally like to do, like the tree lighting ceremony and other things like that? Are you learning from these events, like, we can do this, or if we do this again, we got to change this a little bit? But is it almost like a test, like if this goes well, we think we can do something else down the road?
Everything has been a test. We started out with a request from girls softball and boys club, could we do baseball? A lot of other people canceled baseball. You know, baseball is America. I don't know that you cancel things on kids that we were so used to growing up. So we did baseball, worked out well. Everybody behaved. Everybody went along with the program. Then, of course, we looked at preschool, and there was some worry that we were ahead of ourselves. We weren't. It went and continues to go very well. As you said, 124 is doing their thing, and it's going well. I just think we're going to have to learn to live with this thing. And living with it doesn't mean staying home under your bed.
Exactly. Before I let you go, can you talk a little bit about all these people you have working for you who have pulled this off? Because I can imagine there's an awful lot of extra work that they have to put in, time, energy, trying to plan things out to be able to do things like open up the preschool and have all these recreational department things. And now your Halloween events with the movie and everything that's going on. You must have folks that are putting in an awful lot of time right now for you.
Well, they're putting in an extraordinary effort, and it not only goes from these social events, but our fine fire and police department have kept us very safe under some of this civil unrest. We have not had any looting. They check and recheck all of our shopping centers on an hourly basis to make sure that nothing's going wrong there. And that's something else that a lot of people are probably jealous about, is our public service, our public safety response to these pandemics and protests. So we're very proud of all of the people who work here in Evergreen Park. I say that they do all the work, and I get my picture in the paper on Thursday.
And you get to come on the EP podcast and talk with me, which could be...
There you go, and I'm on the podcast, better yet.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you talking with us, as always. I'm excited about what the village is going to be doing for Halloween, the drive-in movie theater thing for a couple of weeks over at the community center, the idea that we're going to have trick-or-treating for these kids. I'm going to tell you, look, it not only means a lot to me, but trust me, it means a lot to my kids. And they've been going through a lot. I never thought I'd be as much of a psychologist as I am with the range of children I have, from a kid that's in high school down to a kid that's 5 years old. And they're all dealing with these things, and they're dealing with it in a different way.
Well, I didn't want to have this Halloween go by and not have the mothers and fathers be able to take the kids out trick-or-treating with red cups in their hand. So we're looking forward. They need a break. They need a break too. So we're looking forward to that.
That's awesome. Mayor Sexton, that was awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
God bless Evergreen Park and God bless America. Thanks, Chris.
It is now time for your EP podcast, Word on the Street. Dance classes are back. Beginning the day that this show comes out, there's beginning Team Tap, Hip Hop 2, grades 3 through 5, Jazz 3, grades 4 through 5, and Tap and Ballet. All kinds of classes available. Register at the community center. You can still get in there. The youth department has announced their fall-winter hours, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m., grades 5 to 12. Wear a mask, of course. They've got arcade games, board games, crafts, your Xboxes, Nintendo Switches, PS4s, and Wiis. There's a pool table, ping pong, foosball, air hockey. They didn't have this stuff when I was a kid. It's at the community center in room 105. If you want to ask any questions, ask our good friend Paisha Allen, who runs the youth department, 708-229-3377. Paisha's also who you would contact if you have a kid that is willing to go out and mow some lawns, rake some leaves, shovel some snow, and do odd jobs to make some extra money. Or if you're an Evergreen Park resident that would like to have a kid from the Community Chores program come over and help you out. Again, that number is 708-229-3377. Youth department is super busy all of a sudden, and that's a good sign. We just heard from Mayor Sexton. We're bringing in John Brand now. That's your EP word on the street. Found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com. Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. Across from me is Hannah Beth, and sitting at my 9-foot homemade oak bar is John Brand, and we just heard from Mayor James Sexton, and Halloween is on.
Yes! America.
Yeah, America.
America.
That's kind of how I felt when he was talking, man. He had me whipped up. I was ready.
Baseball and solo cups.
Yeah, baseball and red solo cups. That's America right now, John. I mean, yeah, you're over in Beverly right now, but you're missing America over here at Evergreen Park.
There's a lot of red cups in the Beverly Morgan Park neighborhood on Halloween, too. I think that might just be a Southside thing.
Mayor James Sexton saying Halloween is on in Evergreen Park. It'll be on Halloween. The hours yet to be determined. They're thinking sometime in the afternoon, might be 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, going till about 6 p.m. All right, they're gonna have signage for those that don't want kids at their house, which is understandable. You're
Smart.
at risk. You don't want kids knocking on the door all day, and you don't want them around. You can put some signs up. That's great. But then the other big thing that I thought was really cool was they're going to be doing basically a drive-in movie theater over at the community center for 2 Fridays leading up to Halloween.
I love
and
that.
They're going to be showing double features both nights for and they're different movies. So you can really go see 4 movies over 2 nights with your family for Halloween. So I think the Village is coming up with some really good ideas for the season, and it's really, really cool.
I like the drive-in movie thing. The scary movies are that he was talking about.
You know, they're probably he's like, bring out your kids for scary movies. And I'm thinking to myself, like,
movies.
well, what are they going to show that's going to be scary?
Exorcist.
Yeah, I mean, like, bring your kids out for The Exorcist. I'm pretty sure it's not.
I'm
pretty sure it's not The Exorcist.
Cujo, everyone's going to be scared of dolls.
I'm sorry, you think the original It is scarier than the new It?
I didn't see the new It, so
The
I can't
new
say
It was scary.
I
Did
don't
you see
watch
that movie,
remakes.
John?
No, I did not.
You did not see that one? Do you
No.
watch scary movies at all?
I do not, no.
John Brand from Open Outcry over on
Scary movies are
109th and Western Avenue.
Nope.
Who's building me a cottage to put up on top of his roof that I got to decorate, and I can't wait to sit inside of it. I've been following you on social media, and
We've told our friends.
yeah, when
They're
is this?
excited.
When do I get to decorate? Because I've had the Chamber of Commerce reach out to me, like Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce. Kelly Maroney over there, she reached out to me like twice, I think, in the last week since she heard you announce it, and she was like, when do you get to decorate? I want to go and sit. Can I request just the EP podcast cabin?
It might be next week. So the first one was
Ooh.
finished. The first one was finished, and it's actually being decorated. We partner with a handful of different folks, like we did last year, where they can come in and decorate and promote their business or their organization. So the first one that was finished, Morgan Park Academy, is going to turn into a Harry Potter themed haunted library.
That is
It sounds
cool.
like.
All right. Are they changing it as the seasons change? Is that what their plan is?
No,
gonna
I
be?
think they're just
like,
gonna
I don't have to
stick
do
it-
that, right? I don't have to
No,
have a
you can-
Halloween
you-
one and then a Christmas
I
one.
want-
Man, we got to step it up, though.
I
They're
want it to
doing
be- I want-
Halloween Harry Potter.
I assume, what are you going to do? You're going to turn it into like a podcast studio?
No,
with
I
the
don't
EP?
know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. That's why I want to know when I have to have
I'm
the
thinking
idea
late next
by.
week. It'll be ready by late next week.
All right, so in other words, we got to get to work.
First of all, I don't want you in charge of it. I'd like Hannah in charge of that, please. So, Hannah, please make sure you bring your game. You need to look at the
will.
pictures from last year, because the businesses we partnered with last year did an exceptional job. So
Are
hopefully
the
we
pictures
can.
on Instagram?
They're all on Instagram.
Okay.
Hopefully you can
I'll do
level up on
research.
everybody. But maybe that's the idea. You turn into a big podcast studio. Can we do a show from
Of
the
course
EP?
we would. Oh, I would definitely
that
want to
would
do a
be
show
cool.
from
Okay,
inside of the
that'd be
cabin.
great.
Like, we would have to do that
Yeah,
one night.
let's
That
do
would
it.
be cool.
We would have to do that, and that would.
Let's invite Mayor Sexton too.
We can have Mayor Sexton. I
That
will
would be
tell
fun.
Mayor. We will invite Mayor Sexton on your behalf to come and sit up on top of
Mayor
that building.
Sexton's a very likable fellow. Every time I talk to the gentleman, I enjoy my conversations with him.
I try to use some decorum when he calls me up beforehand. So I even though I have the recordings between me and him, I don't ever play them. But he's funny right off the bat when he's on the phone with me. And what was interesting is the first couple times that I interviewed him, anytime you interview somebody who's a politician, and he's a great guy, but he's a politician. They're very nervous about like, what's it going to sound like?
Yeah.
And we've gotten to the point now where I go, hey, anything you want to tell me before? And he goes, no, just do whatever you want to, Chris. And I'm like, you sure? America. I don't want to say, whatever you say, I got you. Like he's very comfortable now coming on this show, which I'm a little proud of. I kind of like the fact that he'll be like, yeah, I'll come on, I'll talk about it. I know we're the first people to talk about what's going on for Halloween. I know he hadn't told anybody else about it. You brought over a milkshake IPA.
That's
Tell
right.
me about it.
Yep. So this is Dodd-Frank. It's a milkshake IPA. The Dodd-Frank series is one of our most requested beers. When we don't have the Dodd-Frank on, I hear it the most. When are you bringing the Dodd-Frank back? So we released it last week. This is a milkshake IPA with fresh mango puree.
So it's not the hops that are giving the fruit taste. You're using puree.
In this particular beer, this is actual mango puree.
Okay.
It's I think around 50 pounds of mango puree.
Nice.
Now, explain to me, what do they mean by milkshake? I hear milkshake with beer a lot. What does that mean?
So I don't know if it was my last visit or the visit before, we talked about newer and emerging beer styles versus traditional beer styles. And the milkshake IPA is one of those beer styles that have become popular in the last 2 or 3 years, along with the hazy IPAs. Traditionalists and beer purists hate this style.
The ruling seems to be this is good, and I like it as well. It's 7.1%, this milkshake IPA.
It's a big one, yeah.
How long does this one hang out on a tap over at Open Outcry?
Not long. We released it last week, and we're down to... it's probably not going to make it through the weekend.
All right, get in there this weekend, the Open Outcry, if you want to try the mango IPA.
I think we're down to the last barrel.
Yeah,
I think.
Go get yourself the Dodd-Frank milkshake IPA with mango over this weekend. Before we get to the competition, it's not really a competition, just the taste test.
I think you're just trying to embarrass me.
I'm not trying to embarrass you. I want to come up with something fun. I want to come up with something fun tonight.
My dog died when I was 7. You want to talk about that?
Does your financial advisor actually take time to listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation changes? Why worry about those things when Tom Walsh is nearby? He's your local Edward Jones financial advisor. He works with you, focusing on what's important to you. He uses an established process to create personalized financial strategy, and he partners with you to help your strategy stay on track. Listen, families in South Chicagoland have been benefiting from Tom's get-to-know-you approach and do-the-right-thing values for over 18 years. Contact my close personal friend and also a fellow Brother Rice alumni, Tom Walsh. He's your local Edward Jones advisor, located in Mount Greenwood, right outside of the EP at 111th and Kedzie. Member SIPC. Folks, thank you very much for listening to the EP podcast. Hannah and I appreciate it greatly. We are excited about a lot of things that are going on here. The EP podcast car magnet is now available once again to put on the back of your vehicle. I spoke with Danny Roselle over at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park just this past week. He told me people are just coming through the doors or going through the drive-thrus and grabbing those up for free. Put that on the back of your car. We're going to start searching for you starting this week. We've got cash, prizes, gift certificates, you name it. If we spot you with the magnet on the back of your car, you win. First National Bank of Evergreen Park has them right now. There may be other spots popping up soon for you to get the magnet. Plus, you can go online, theeppodcast.com, click on the link that brings you to the car magnet, order it online. It cost a penny because we had to set it up that way. I'm going to return your penny and give you the magnet and drop it off at your door. Don't worry, completely contactless. Another thing I want to tell you about happening this week with the EP podcast, on Wednesday, the 7th, this week, from noon until 1 p.m., I will be the guest on the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce Small Business Marketing Series Zoom call. This is all part of a series of marketing seminars that they've been doing for small businesses in Evergreen Park. It is free to attend. Now, even if you don't have a small business, I'm going to be talking a little bit about podcasting because a lot of small businesses are starting to start their own podcast. I'm, of course, going to talk about how advertising with podcasts is different from advertising with any other medium, but I'm also going to talk about some of the fun stuff over the years that I've picked up on how to get eyes on your product or your cause. Let's say you're trying to raise money for something or bring attention to an issue. You do a lot of guerrilla marketing when you're doing radio. I had 10 years from coast to coast in this country, doing morning radio with a very small budget. We're going to get into that as well. I'm going to pack as much as I can into an hour during that meeting. If you want to attend it, it's online, evergreenparkchamber.org, click on the events section, go to that October 7th workshop, and RSVP. I look forward to talking to all of you who want to participate Wednesday, the 7th, this week, noon until 1 p.m. with the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce. The EP Podcast rolls on. It's time to stump John Brand. Next, everywhere podcasts can be found and always at theeppodcast.com.
Everybody, here is the go, back with the pace. My jam is live and I'm best and I don't waste time. Off the mic with a dope rhyme, jump to the rhythm, jump to the rhythm, jump. And I'm here to combine beats and lyrics to make you shake your pants, take a chance. Come on, let's dance. Guys, grab a girl, won't wait, make the twirl. It's your world and I'm just a squirrel, trying to get a nut to move your butt to the dance floor so your butt's up, hands in the air. Come on, everybody, say yeah. Everybody over here, everybody over there. The crowd is live enough for this fool. Party people in the house, move. Next in line, groove. Work me all night. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Sweat. Music is my life. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you.
'Cause music is
Everybody
my
dance
life.
now.
Music is my life. Music is my life.
Everybody dance now.
'Cause music is my life.
Everybody dance now.
Music is my life.
Everybody dance now.
An Irish pub created by two neighborhood families right here in Evergreen Park, nestled on the quiet little street called 99th. And it has quickly become a Southside tradition. I'm talking about Porter Cullen's. Voted the best Irish pub the last 4 years by the Chicago Tribune. Their menu is filled with unique and inspired takes on traditional Irish and American classics that are sure to satisfy all your taste and cravings. This includes their incredible Guinness battered fish and chips and the best homemade corned beef you can find. With a family-friendly atmosphere, Porter Cullen's is certified by Guinness to give you the perfect pour. A hidden gem on the south side with a downtown feel located right here in Evergreen Park. Porter Cullen's has comfortable seating, indoors and outdoors. Located at 3541 West 99th Street in Evergreen Park. Learn more at portercullens.com. All right, so you came in here and you went head-to-head with me to identify types of beers,
Yes.
and I did not intend to make you upset that day, but
Oh, I wasn't upset.
your feelings were a little hurt, and I understand.
I was upset with myself.
We've got a beer. It's a famous beer. I will tell you this. It's a beer that people who are beer drinkers have talked about for years. It's a beer that people have lined up for in the past, but now has become more available.
Yeah.
And it is a beer that is available
I think I
on
know what it
shelves right now. It is a. Tell me about the type of beer
All right,
first.
so
let's walk through it, because you always do this.
Yep.
You walk through it. Sometimes you take a wrong turn at Albuquerque,
Yeah,
but
so
you
the
walk through it.
Start with the color. Starting with the color, jet black. So it's obviously some form of a stout.
Right.
I can taste the alcohol and the booze in it, so presumably this is a Russian Imperial Stout.
I believe that is a Russian
Okay.
Imperial Stout.
It's also barrel aged. I get the wood in it.
Definitely
Okay.
barrel aged, and I believe that's bourbon. The barrel.
It's a barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout.
Right.
You had said that this is a beer that historically people have waited in line for.
Yes.
I'm assuming based on that, because now everybody's.
Oh, and I'm gonna throw one more
Go
hint.
ahead.
I'm gonna help you because I
Yep.
want you to win. All
Yep.
right.
Okay.
It is not a Chicagoland brewery.
It's not.
Not.
It's not.
I was going to go with the Chicago. It's not
I know which
overly
one you.
sweet either.
I know
so-
which one you were going to go with. You were going to go
I was
with the
gonna say
Goose
Bourbon
Island.
County by
You were going
Goose
to go with the
Island.
Goose
Yeah.
Island Bourbon County.
Yeah.
This is a comparable one from a Midwestern brewery that, if they don't stand in line, I know it's one of those ones when it comes out, it's gone in about 2 hours. Okay. It used to be very rare, and now it's one that you're able to pick up whenever you want.
Should I go with New Holland? Is this a Dragon's Milk?
It's not a Dragon's Milk, but I'm going to give you one more hint. It's
Okay.
in that area. That brewery is right up there where it's at. Okay? Beer has the name of a state, and the beer sometimes is referred to by its initials. And the initials start with a K. They end with an S.
Just tell me what it is.
Kentucky Bourbon Stout.
This
KBS.
is Kentucky Bourbon Stout?
That's what that is. It's
This is by
Kentucky Bourbon
Founders.
Stout.
This is
Yeah,
a
the
Founders Kentucky
beer,
Bourbon
right.
Stout. I have not had a Kentucky Bourbon Stout by Founders in a really long time.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I gotta find it. I gotta find something that. I want John to win one.
I'm going to
here.
stop coming on this damn show. It's a Russian Imperial Stout barrel aged, and now
Right.
you want me to name the brewery that this stuff comes from? I mean, what do you want?
You know what?
Last
You did it.
want
You know,
from me?
let's give him some
Last
applause.
time he had to
He
pick the type.
had to pick the type. He picked the type. He picked out his barrel aged. He was so close to it. I'm gonna give you a win.
I haven't had a KBS in a long time.
Yeah.
This is a really good beer.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nude is basement. Broadcast basement. The nudist basement. The broad basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.